Hi, everyone. Tracy Cousineau here with my longtime friend, Cadillac Jack. And I'm sure that everyone in Metro Atlanta knows who my friend Caddy is. And we spent a good amount of time on air together. And now I'm glad to share a stage with you. I'm just so, blessed to have such a great person in my life, you and Donna both. And we look forward to having you at Elevate Live 2021. And guess what, guys? It's not just for the real estate industry. Caddy doesn't sell real estate, but Caddy would buy a house through me, though.
Of course he would.
I have to plug that in. So, Caddy, tell us about your second act.
Hang on one sec. Donna, Donna's watching wrestling. Hang on. I can't hear Donna. I can't hear Tracy. We're live. Turn that down, please. Thank you. She loves her wrestling. You know what? Terrestrial radio, Tracy, as you know, was all that I ever knew. It's all that I ever did. I started doing radio when I was in high school. I was hired here in Atlanta when I was 19 years old. Got here in '94. Did 26 years at the same radio station. And then we went our separate ways. And again, terrestrial radio was all that I knew. So I had to find a second act. I had to find something that I could buy into, that I would get great joy and have pride over. And at the time, there was a word that had begun to bubble up a little bit. And 2 years ago, it was people, at least the word podcasting was on their radar. I kind of shied away from it, Tracy, to be honest with you, because I didn't know how to do it, to be honest with you. I'd never listened to a podcast. I didn't understand how you listen to a podcast. Where do you find them? Do you have to listen live? I had never looked into it. And so Donna came to me, my wife Donna came to me with the idea of doing a podcast. And then the name My Second Act came up because it was so telling. This was my second act, or is my second act. And there's so much that can happen in your second act. There's more character development. There's drama. There's so many different things that happen in the second act of a Broadway play or something in the arts. And we do it twice a week, and it's called Cadillac Jack, My Second Act. And we tape, Tracy, less than 12 hours before the 2 episodes each week are uploaded. And the reason that we do that is because we wanted to kind of have a morning show type format. It's very current. We talk about, pop culture, trends, music, concerts, parenting, life challenges, COVID, pandemic, whatever you are talking about already with your friends and your neighbors and your coworkers are the conversations that we have on Cadillac Jack, My Second Act every Tuesday and Thursday. So it's been a lot of fun. Donna is very funny. She is a rock star. She had never been in a studio. Well, she'd been in the studio, but never behind a microphone until we launched January of last year. And I quickly learned that just like you, Tracy Cousineau, she is a very, very strong, independent thinking female and has some great ideas and some great thoughts. And so I've learned to just, when she gets going, step away, hush, let her have it, because she has much more interesting things to say than I do.
I love that, because I remember when I first started recording, I had the fear of the mic. Like, I remember, oh, look, shout out. Yes, people.
I'm sorry, I had to give me a drink, Tracy.
Yes, I love it. I'm going to need me a sleeve of those.
I'll bring them Wednesday.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, so I remember my first days recording, and I was like, oh, what am I going to talk about? Nobody wants to hear what I have to say, like blah, blah, blah. And now I'm like, where's the mic? I need my own morning show. Hey, y'all need to know this. You need to know that. And it's become like my language, like, give me a mic, let me talk. To have an event, if you asked me to do this like 10 years ago, I would have been like, oh, you're really, really funny. I'm not hosting an event. Like, seriously, who's going to talk? I'm not talking. And so totally get it. But once I start, I don't know how to stop. I've spoken on many stages, and my friends that I'm speaking, for on their stages, they're like,
right. You get the rap signal.
Yeah, but I'm not done. And then they just start blaring the music. But I'm like, right. I gotta help one more person out in the audience. I have something else to say that they need to hear. Don't kick me off. So I totally get it. I'm launching my podcast. I've been meaning to do this for years. My thought process is because you do something on a daily basis, you think it's so important to other people. And so everyone's like, no, like people want to hear about that or they want to hear about that. And I'm like, well, that's really boring. They're like, no, it's honestly not. You just think so because it's your daily life. I'm like, oh, that's good. That's an aha moment. And so, yeah, so I'm starting two podcasts, and, one is going to be interviewing, CEOs, their journey, how they got branded, what their message to market is, and that kind of stuff to help other people when they're thinking about putting the businesses together. Like these are the trials and tribulations and stuff that people went through.
Right.
And then the other one, sorry, my dogs are going to go crazy.
That's right.
I was hitting the table talking. And then the other one is just going to be like raw and real. Like for me, I'm seeing all of these, like I'm in all of these like Facebook groups, and I'm hearing like all of the questions that agents, if they're new, if they're, been in the business, 2 years, 5 years, 20 years, 30 years, and conversations that are being had on these platforms. A lot of it is code of ethics violation when they start talking. I'm like, ooh, like, no, this should not be, these conversations should not be happening. But then pulling out a lot of what help people actually need and just doing podcasts on helping these questions that they're asking on these forums, because a lot of in real estate in that specific industry that I am in, it's everybody has the best coaching, right? Everybody has the best training, and that's what they always say, right? But then you really look at it and it's like, okay, well, if you're coaching under someone, how much do they have other top agents that they surround themselves in to be able to teach other people that stuff? Or they're not up into the industry. A lot of stuff is just really old. People that are going to be on the stage with us, they're all in current times of real estate or current times in message to market and branding, whether the industry, they're all thought leaders, they're all public figures. And so just being able to contribute back in a way that we're going to contribute back this week in Atlanta is amazing. It's nothing that we're trying to make a lot of sales. We're not there to sell. We're not there to recruit. We're there to actually give back to the community, support the Grand Hyatt, who is, we're doing the event at, they make some money, hotels were closed for a long time.
Right.
Just giving back to the community, giving back to the industry, giving back to others, so that they can keep the economy going. They can keep their industry, their life, and their families all, being supported.
Donna and I, Tracy, we can't necessarily speak directly to anyway, the real estate environment in that wheelhouse. But I think that what we can bring Wednesday at 3:30 when we were with you at Elevate 2021 are ideas and very simple tweaks that you can make to your brand that can expand it, and how to cross promote and synergize all the different brands that you have. And you do this perfectly, Tracy Cousineau, because you have so many different brands. Real estate agents and real estate experts, you have a brand. It doesn't matter what city you're in. It doesn't matter who holds your license. You are responsible for your individual brand. With I believe I'm right about that. With most real estate companies, you control your brand and you do your marketing and your advertising. Or I think that's the case with most. So you have to absolutely make sure that you're making the right decisions when it comes to marketing and branding and advertising. Donna, we both have probably 50 years combined experience in radio. Me on the programming side with being on air, but Donna was a rock star salesperson in radio, and then she went into print, and now she's in retail. And it is just podcasting will work and does work great for real estate agents. So we're going to hit on that. And listen, we talk a lot on the podcast that we do, Tracy, about my second act, but also Plan B. And when I was let go from terrestrial radio 2 years ago, I was doing quite well. I'd been there for 25 years, been through several contracts, was doing morning drive at the time. Overnight, and I'm not exaggerating. Overnight, overnight we went from hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to zero. No severance, no buyout, no nothing. Zero money overnight. We had to act fast, and I had heard from friends, the multiple streams of revenue. And I was like, well, heck no, I'm doing okay. I don't need multiple streams of revenue. And we weren't prepared for a plan B. Now, you may say, but shouldn't everybody be prepared for a plan B? Probably so. At the time, though, I was halfway through. I was 2 years into a 4-year guaranteed contract. So there really wasn't any need for a plan B at that time. But we had to act fast. And we'll talk about that. This month alone, Tracy, I counted this morning before you and I hopped on this call. I think we have 11 different revenue streams just this month coming into the house. And do you hustle? Absolutely. Do I mind hustling? Absolutely not. Donna is the queen of hustling. And we work very, very hard, but we were able to recover from what would have been, and probably should have been and could have been a catastrophic dismount from the radio industry. But we've recovered, and it's been a lot of work, but we don't mind working. And that's the thing that you can't be afraid to work hard. And if you are, then maybe you want to listen. There are a lot of jobs available right now. I was at Cookout on Haynesbridge Road the other day, and the guy at the drive-thru is pitching me for a gig. He's like, "Listen, we pay $14 an hour." I thought about it for a second, Tracy. I mean, come on, but seriously, if you don't want to work hard, then find you another industry. You know, there are plenty of jobs available right now.
Well, I completely agree with you. During the Great Recession, I lost completely everything: house, cars, myself.
Right, sure.
And
mental health became such an issue for so many different people, and we talk about that in the podcast. You know, we're very transparent. It's very raw. Unlike radio, podcasting, I can be myself. I've had people say to me, Tracy, I've learned more about you in the year and a half that you've done podcasting than I did in 25 years of listening to you on the radio. And it's because people don't understand really how contrived radio can be. And it's a great medium. I'm not bashing radio at all. But I'm able to be real and be myself and talk about mental health, talk about addiction, talk about parenting, blended families, step parenting, crappy neighbors, all that kind of stuff. You can be real and you can be raw.
Yeah. So my other podcast I'm doing is Tracy Cousineau Uncut. So it is just like raw, real. That's who I am. That's who I show up every day. I don't want to be some fabricated person and have to remember who I told this to. That's just not me. There are no sprinkles on top of cupcakes. Like, I'm going to help you, because if I show up who I really am and go through the process with you, but don't sugarcoat it, you're going to take the advice more seriously. But I'm also going to tell you things that you don't want to hear. Yes. So, you know, that's the difference of, you know, being gray and being black and white. And I refuse to be in the middle. You're just always going to know what I'm thinking and what my thought process is.
And we can always agree to disagree. And that's the beauty of it. We can still be friends. It doesn't politically, or, you know, there's so much divisiveness right now in this country. Why can't we all still be friends and respect one another? Whether it's, you know, the vaccine is another one, which is such a hot topic that is just tearing us all apart. Let's just agree that we can all be friends and disagree about certain things. Yeah.
So I read this morning, like, I don't know, actually like an hour ago, I got a news break. I have that app on my phone, news break, and all this stuff. And I read that businesses are going to start deducting $50 a month from their employees' paychecks if they don't have the vaccination. And I'm like, I won't be doing that. But wow, you know, I mean, we all have the right to put in our bodies what we want to put in our bodies. So that's a whole nother topic.
Well, it is. But let me say this: you're the business owner, though, and so you make that decision. People shouldn't come at you about your decision, just like you shouldn't go. And I know that you don't, but you shouldn't go after other people if they make a decision that's not the same one that you made. You know, so. Let's just hug. That's what we're going to do for the half hour that Don and I are with you at Elevate 2021 Wednesday, 3:30. At the end, we're going to gather everybody there in the room at the Grand Hyatt Bucket, and we're going to hug. We're going to hug. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, exactly. I love y'all. I am honored to have you on stage, and I can't wait to see you and catch up. And everybody can have one of your cool mugs. That one. Plastic cup. I love plastic cups.
How are your hips and your heels after dancing with Gary the Vox in Texas the other week?
Oh my gosh, did you watch where I was dancing?
Have you healed? Have your hips and heels healed?
I'm good until he sends me that random message on Friday saying, I saw you swagging and I need you to be at the next concert front row. I'm like, okay, Gary. And then I look at his lineup. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to Indiana or Ohio in the next October, November, because that's really where he's starting at.
Right.
There. But
I know we got to wrap. Can I tell you Gary the Vox story real quick?
Yes.
Gary's the lead singer for Rascal Flatts, huge influence in country music. And just like you've known Gary for decades. And we were talking one day, and he loves Mexican. That's one of his favorite things to eat, Mexican food. And he was with his wife and his mother-in-law at this Mexican restaurant in Nashville. And Gary says to me, Caddy, you know, every time we order and my mother-in-law is with me, I go to the bathroom. to get away. And I said, well, Gary, why do you leave when the waitress comes around? And he said, because my mother-in-law, the waitress would come to the table and she'd be like to his mother-in-law, now what are you going to have, ma'am? And she'd be like, well, sweetheart, I think I'm going to have an order of them vaginas. Hello, I think they just dropped us, Tracy. Hello,
Nope.
Hello, not fajitas.
Hilarious.
And I said, well, Gary, I can see now why you run to the bathroom. So he's a good guy. He's a good guy and a great spokesperson for everything that you do. We're so proud of you and we love you. And Don and I are so excited that you invited us to do this. And if nothing else, we're going to laugh when we're up there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you don't know Caddy, he's going to make you laugh. And then you're going to know Caddy because you're not going to forget how he made you laugh. So be prepared, bring your tissues, not to cry, but to laugh.
Maybe some of that too. Listen, again, we're honest, we're vulnerable, we're raw.
Yep. Well, I love you. I'll see you Wednesday. Get your tickets at Elevate Live 2021. If you would like to have lunch with the speakers, grab that ticket as well. There's a few spots left, and we'll see you either live stream or in person in Atlanta on Wednesday and Thursday.
Cheers. Thank you, Tracy. See you this week.
Bye, everyone.